On behalf of the North Dakota Department of Transportation, City of Dickinson, and Apex Engineering Group, welcome, and thank you for taking time today to learn about these projects in the City of Dickinson. My name is Jason Gullix, the Project Manager for Apex Engineering Group, the lead engineering consultant for these North Dakota Department of Transportation and City of Dickinson projects. Other individuals playing key roles in the project are Scott Schneider with Apex and Tom Fiddler with Stantec. The sub-consultants assisting Apex on this project are Stantec for the roundabout layouts, Juniper for the cultural resource clearance, and Martinez Geospatial for the aerial survey. The three projects being proposed are the I-94 West Business Loop from the westbound I-94 ramps to State Avenue, the I-94 West Business Loop and 23rd Avenue County Road 10 intersection, and the North Dakota 22 and East Street South intersection. The I-94 West Business Loop project proposes a 3-lane curb and gutter urban roadway, shared use path, street lighting, and stormwater improvements. The two intersection projects are categorized as safety projects with roundabouts proposed. The North Dakota 22 and East Street project includes proposed frontage road reconfigurations. At this time, all three projects will proceed as one through the environmental, design, and construction process. These projects are needed to improve the safety, roadway deficiencies, pedestrian facilities, and long-term reliability of the roadway network in these areas of Dickinson. Step for a successful project is obtaining environmental clearance as required by the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. This is the stage the project is in. Many categories are reviewed in the evaluation of project alternatives to meet NEPA requirements. The most typical categories include wetlands, cultural resources, endangered species, environmental justice or social impacts, right-of-way, and private utility impacts. At this time, impact to these items is minimal or non-existent, so the project should obtain environmental clearance. We will now begin to discuss details of the I-94 West Business Loop project from the westbound I-94 ramps to State Avenue. The existing 2-lane rural ditch section on the West Business Loop will be converted to an urbanized 3-lane section similar to that on the East Business Loop in Dickinson. The roadway will consist of 12-foot driving lanes, a 14-foot two-way left turn lane, 8-foot shoulders with curb and gutter. A shared use path is proposed on the east and north side along with street lighting for the entire corridor. A ditch will remain on the west and south side. The existing ditch on the east and north side will be filled in. However, a shallow swale may be needed in some areas to accommodate the drainage design. As the West Business Loop 3-lane section approaches the State Avenue intersection, various improvements will be needed to match the 3-lane section on Villard Street that starts 1 block east of State Avenue at Hollywood Boulevard. The existing eastbound to southbound right turn lane will be removed and turned into green space. The median in the southwest corner will be revised along with the traffic signals at the intersection. Villard Street will be restriped into a 3-lane section between State Avenue and Hollywood Boulevard to have a consistent 3-lane roadway all through Dickinson. The area of the West Business Loop across the I-94 interchange will receive a mill and overlay as the existing bridge is not wide enough for the proposed 3-lane section. The mill and overlay will start at the concrete just north of the I-94 westbound ramps and will stop just south of the I-94 eastbound ramps, at which point the reconstruction of the West Business Loop will begin. Since the West Business Loop will be under construction, the City of Dickinson plans to extend water main across the West Business Loop at 3 locations shown by the red arrows. This will be to facilitate future development on the west side and avoid disturbing the new roadway in the future. This water main work will be 100% city funds. This urban project is also eligible for enhancement funding, which will be capped at $450,000. These funds have the same cost share as the main roadway project. These funds cannot be used on the roundabout projects as those are safety projects. Various landscaping improvements will be developed with these funds and implemented along the corridor. The conversion of the West Business Loop to an urbanized roadway, a storm sewer system will be installed to convey the drainage. This system will include inlets along the curb to catch the roadway drainage and will also connect to 5 existing private stormwater ponds and outlet piping as shown by the yellow circles. The storm sewer will collect all this drainage and discharge it at a single outfall location as depicted by the star. This outfall location does not change the existing drainage pattern. Existing storm sewer facilities will be used to convey drainage between 23rd Avenue and State Avenue. The existing facilities are at or near capacity in this area, so the design will be developed to maintain the current flow rates into the existing storm sewer systems. One way to achieve this is by creating shallow swales to temporarily store runoff. To construct the West Business Loop, a 3-phase work zone plan will be used. In Phase 1, the existing roadway will be widened. Once widened, Phase 2 will start with traffic shifted onto the Phase 1 widening. This will allow for construction of at least half of the new roadway. Once this half is completed, the traffic will be shifted onto this portion of the new roadway, and Phase 3 will begin, which will construct the remaining portion of the roadway. Before discussing details on the 2 roundabout projects, some general roundabout topics will be covered. Roundabouts have become more accepted by the public and are being used at more and more locations around the state. For those not familiar with roundabouts, here's a brief summary. A roundabout is a circular intersection where the user travels counterclockwise around a center island. There is no signal or stop sign to enter the circular roadway, only a yield sign, as the user must yield to the traffic already circulating the roundabout. To exit, a right-hand turn is performed onto the desired roadway. The splitter islands on the approaches help slow down and direct traffic entering the roundabout. The truck apron is located between the main circular roadway and the center island. The truck apron allows larger trucks and trailers to circulate the roundabout. The center island is used to break the sight line across the roundabout and to bring awareness to users that a roundabout is present. The center island can consist of various materials, but in urban areas, they usually have a landscaping element. There are many benefits to roundabouts. One of the main benefits is increased safety for both vehicles and pedestrians. Roundabouts eliminate high-speed crashes and reduce the number and severity of crashes. A reduction in the conflict points, as shown on the right, is a key factor in the reduction in crashes and severity of crashes. Other benefits of roundabouts include the improvement of traffic flow as vehicles continue to move, increase in traffic capacity, accommodations of many vehicle types, and the aesthetics it can provide. Criteria for the roundabouts has been developed through many discussions with the North Dakota Department of Transportation and City of Dickinson. After reviewing many options, the roundabout size was set at a 140-foot inscribed circle diameter. As both roundabouts are on a truck route, the truck turning movement was set for a WB67 or a large semi. The design was completed so only the rear trailer tires use the truck apron. Oversized permits are being reviewed to determine if any additional adjustments are needed to the truck apron. Now that we have discussed some general roundabout items, we'll discuss the roundabout project at the I-94 West Business Loop and 23rd Avenue County Road 10 intersection. A visualization of this roundabout is shown here. Layout of the I-94 West Business Loop and 23rd Avenue County Road 10 intersection has minimal challenges due to the sufficient right-of-way and lack of access points near the intersection. This roundabout will only provide a pedestrian crossing at 23rd Avenue for the shared use path along the West Business Loop. The slip ramp for eastbound County Road 10 to the West Business Loop movement will be removed as shown with the red crosses on the image. All traffic will be taken through the roundabout to facilitate a continuous 3-lane roadway without a merge that would be needed if the slip ramp was left in place. Drainage of this intersection is included in the main West Business Loop project drainage plan. On the upper right, you will see a visualization of what the proposed roundabout may look like at the I-94 West Business Loop and 23rd Avenue, County Road 10 intersection. The view in this visualization is looking north with the Dollar General to the lower right. As we shift to the simulation in the lower left, this gives a perception of how the proposed roundabout will function at this location. To construct the I-94 West Business Loop and 23rd Avenue, County Road 10 roundabout, a temporary roadway bypass will be constructed so 3 legs of the roundabout can be constructed at one time. While traffic is on the temporary bypass, 23rd Avenue will be closed and access to local businesses will be maintained from the east. Once the first 3 legs of the roundabout are constructed, the traffic will be shifted to these legs of the roundabout, and the 4th leg to the roundabout connecting to County Road 10 will be constructed. While this connection is being constructed, the slip ramp will be widened to carry 2 lanes of traffic to make a temporary connection for County Road 10. Once the slip ramp connection is no longer needed, it will be fully removed. We will now shift our focus to the North Dakota 22 and 8th Street South roundabout project, a project that is more complicated in regards to design and construction than the West Business Loop roundabout. A visualization of this roundabout is shown here. The North Dakota 22 and 8th Street roundabout layout has challenges to address as part of the project development. Close access points, including both driveways and frontage roads, to the intersection have been a key topic of the project team during the roundabout development. The frontage roads need to be reconfigured as they cannot enter onto 8th Street as they do today. Cul-de-sacs were considered to terminate the frontage roads just north of 8th Street, but the cul-de-sacs would not be able to meet city standards nor the requirements for emergency vehicles. The best solution is to curve the frontage roads into North Dakota 22 just north of 8th Street with right-in, right-out access due to the splitter islands. The splitter islands on all 4 intersection quadrants span across numerous access points: the Loaf and Jug driveway to the east, frontage roads to the north, the storage unit driveway to the west, and the North Wind construction driveway to the south. These driveways will have right-in, right-out access only. Other options are available for left turn movements, such as other driveways or circulating the roundabout. As users begin to use the roundabout, new patterns will be developed to access the local area, as is typical with any change in roadway geometry. On the upper right, you will see a visualization of what the proposed roundabout may look like at the North Dakota 22 and 8th Street South intersection. The view in this visualization is looking east with the Loaf and Jug to the upper left on this view. As we shift to the simulation in the lower left, this gives a perception of how the proposed roundabout will function at this location. Included with all roundabout designs are turning movements. The two upper left views show turning movements for the WB67 truck design vehicle. These turning movements would be similar on the West Business Loop roundabout as the two proposed roundabouts are the same size. The two lower turning movements were completed to ensure the functionality of the loaf and jug. The lower left view is a pickup and the lower right view is of a fuel delivery vehicle. This intersection is a high point with the drainage flowing away from the intersection as depicted by the blue arrows. Being at a high point makes drainage design easier. Existing drainage patterns will be maintained at this intersection, requiring only minimal or no additional drainage facilities. Constructing roundabouts is easiest and provides the best final product when one leg of the intersection can be closed, as will be done on the West Business Loop. The North Dakota 22 and 8th Street intersection probably doesn't lend itself to closing one leg, so the construction may be in many phases. Constructing roundabouts in multiple phases can be like putting a puzzle together. Portions of the splitter islands and other curves will not be installed in some phases so traffic can be maintained. When the roundabout is nearing completion, the portions of the splitter islands and curves that were left out to maintain traffic will be installed to finish the roundabout. To help facilitate construction, the frontage roads will be used to bypass traffic, along with additional easements on the south side of the intersection to allow for the shifting of the 8th Street traffic. One remaining roundabout item that has not been discussed is the center island treatment. Center islands can be a hard surface, grass, or landscaped. Currently, the project team supports a landscaping option. This option helps break the sight line across the roundabout, gives users a visual cue the roundabout is coming, and improves aesthetics. Some examples of the landscape center islands are shown here. A few project items remaining to be discussed include right-of-way, estimated cost, funding, and project schedule. Currently, additional permanent right-of-way is not anticipated for any of the projects. However, temporary construction easements will be needed for the grading of the project and blending of adjacent properties to match the new roadway. This blending will also ensure proper drainage. Temporary construction easements will also be needed along the West Business Loop, where the new storm sewer system is making connections to the existing private stormwater ponds and the outlet piping. Anticipated project costs and funding sources for the projects are as follows. The I-94 West Business Loop is funded at 80% federal, 10% state, and 10% local, with a total estimated cost ranging from $11 million to $13.5 million. The I-94 West Business Loop mill and overlay of the I-94 interchange area is estimated to cost just over $100,000, with the funding split of 90% federal and 10% state. The two roundabout intersection projects are funded with Highway Safety Improvement Program, or HSIP funding. The I-94 West Business Loop and 23rd Avenue County 10 intersection has an estimated cost of $3 million to $3.5 million, with the 90% federal, 5% state, 5% local funding split for the area within the I-94 West Business Loop right-of-way, and a 90% federal, 10% local split for portions of 23rd Avenue and County 10 beyond the I-94 West Business Loop right-of-way. The North Dakota 22 and 8th Street intersection has a 90% federal and 10% state funding split within the North Dakota 22 right-of-way, and 90% federal, 10% local for the portions of 8th Street beyond the North Dakota 22 right-of-way. The estimated cost for the North Dakota 22 and 8th Street project is $2.2 to $2.5 million. With the public input process, we are nearing the final steps of the environmental documentation. Environmental documentation is anticipated to be completed in the winter of 2024. Once the environmental document is approved, final design and plan preparation can be completed. During this time, any right-of-way and temporary construction easements would be acquired. The plan completion and right-of-way acquisition is scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2024, with construction anticipated in 2026. Please note, these dates are tentative and are subject to change for a variety of reasons. This concludes the presentation for these projects in the City of Dickinson. Should you have any concerns, issues, or needs, please provide written comments to me by mail or email. Please send mailed comments to me at Apex Engineering Group, attention Jason Gullix, 600 South 2nd Street, Suite 145, Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, or by email at jason.gullix@apexenggroup.com with public input meeting in the email subject heading. Comments need to be postmarked or emailed by November 14th. We would also like to hear about yourself. On the website, there will be a link to a Title VI survey. Please take a moment and fill this form out and send back to me by email or mail at the address listed on this slide. Once again, thank you for taking time to learn about these projects in the City of Dickinson, and we look forward to receiving any comments you may have. Thank you.